And you're very welcome into the House, Deputy Lawless, and I want to thank the committee for their work to date on this report. I want to thank Annie for her testimony here today, and I want to apologise to her on behalf of each and every one of us that are elected members, that you were not looked after, that you did not get justice, and many of the women, those 95% of women who are being raped or sexually abused or sexually assaulted, will not get justice. And that is absolutely scandalous. And we shouldn't stand by that today or allow that to happen any day. And to say that they're going to get away with it is not going to be the case. We have to be stronger when it comes to prosecuting those that perpetrate these crimes on women. So thank you, Annie. And thank you, Lynn Ruane, who also spoke earlier on. And as you can see from that testimony, trauma lives on. It doesn't leave. It never, ever leaves you. Those moments of pain and the moments that follow afterwards, where the injustices have taken place, where those that you think are going to protect you fail to protect you, they live on with you and they hurt. Those scars are still visible. So there's 14 recommendations. Out of that, I want to just touch on 4, if you don't mind. So the rate of prosecution and convictions of these crimes is much lower than that of other serious offences. Serious problem there, and the recommendations looks as if they will do good work in combating that. One of the main reasons for the level of underreporting is directly linked to the experience of victims throughout the justice process. Court systems is intrinsically adversarial. The conflict between rights, establishment of the truth via examination and cross-examination. But any way that this can be made less so, particularly for the victim of sexual assaults, should be readily and speedily pursued. This should lead to the maximisation any re-traumatisation victims may experience during the trial process, and that as a result more victims would feel encouraged to come forward to report such crimes. Another recommendation: while the current law is quite comprehensive, it is spread among several statutes, and consideration should be given to codifying all provisions into a single statute. Good point, and the codifying process through the Houses will allow an opportunity to implement some of the recommendations of the committee. 1. The experience of the cross-examination. 2. The delays in trials proceeding. And 3. The trial dates being postponed at the last minute can cause significant distress to victims. The cross-examination process can be changed, but how can delays and postponements be divided? The recommendation impact assessment may yield suggestions. Appointment of additional judges may be necessary to help counter the inevitable delays in trials dates due to COVID restrictions. Preliminary trial hearings also suggested. Sometimes cross-examinations can be criticised or refute the victim's evidence, and this can further re-traumatise the victims. True, but how on earth is cross-examination supposed to work without criticising or refuting evidence? The committee's specialised training for barristers on how to interact with vulnerable victims could be benefit, but would be less than desirable that it would inhibit the ability of the barrister to defend the client appropriately. Court refurbishment to add witness suites could be good. I know they do this for children. You do have those witness seats available for children. But we should look at what can be done now, i.e. staggered court entry times to avoid both parties encountering each other before the trial. So I welcome the report in favour of the legislation consolidation and using the opportunity to implement some of the recommendations of the committee. In the area of consent, a serious educational process must take place on that. But we also have to look at the area of pornographic online material and what that does to young men and how that affects men and their view of women and how they see women as sexualised objects. So that is a serious issue, I think, that we have in this country, where young people, teenagers, very, very young teenagers are accessing online pornographic material, and the dehumanising that is to women. And I also acknowledge that this may also happen to men as well. And for all victims out there, we want you to come forward, we want you to be heard, and we do believe you.